But no, we're excited about the Founder Suites. Obviously, the price tag is a high one. But as we all know, we're tasked in this new world of college athletics of finding new revenue streams and doing those types of things. And we didn't just put this out without having some conversations before and some personal conversations with donors and kind of gauged interest and those type of things in advance as well, and got a lot of interest. And so we're kind of putting it out to the masses now. We received, I think, about 150 inquiries on that, and not all of those will be able to probably end up doing something like this, but we felt like there was a significant number of serious inquiries that we're certainly going to follow up with. But we think that the suites will be really nice. Obviously, you look around our conference, we've seen a lot of schools that have done similar concepts with really nice Founder Suites and done some really cool things. So we'll see how it all shakes out. We're in the process of designing. Actually had a meeting today about that, and we're excited about the project for sure.
And they're going, are they directly on top of the existing press box, or is it an internal renovation to the existing press box?
So these will actually go on top of the west side press box area, and it'll be 10 Founder Suites. Obviously, they'll have their own amenities up there, and check with our athletics foundation on some of those. But the other part of this is that we were needing to do some renovations over on the west side anyway, some new elevators and renovating, enhancing some things there. We'll create more structure on each side of the west side as far as ingress and egress with stairwells and new elevator shafts and those type of things. So some of this is kind of some deferred maintenance that will be a part of the project. But obviously, the big part of it are the suites on top of the west side.
So you mentioned it a second ago, that this new era in college athletics and the having to find new revenue streams. But let's start with something that you addressed in the Grove, monetizing the Grove statement about internal cuts that you're making. So let's start there. What does that look like as an athletic director, and knowing that you've got to find new money elsewhere, but you're also having to look internally to try to find ways you can be more efficient? So what does that look like for you? And I assume you've begun the process already of making those internal cuts that you guys laid out in that release.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the budget process now for next year, and as a part of that, we've tasked our sports, our different programs, and our internal units to look across their budgets and find ways where we can save. I don't feel like it's fair to just continue to ask our fans and donors to support every aspect of what we're doing. Obviously, we know that's a huge part of it, and couldn't ask for a better fan base and what they've done for us in the past and will do in the future. But we got to do our part too. And I feel like we run a pretty skinny operation, a pretty lean operation as it is, but there's always ways you look at that in any business. You're going to assess that every single year of ways that you can run your business more efficiently. So we want to do that. Obviously we want to make sure that the decisions we make don't affect the student athlete experience. I mean, that's the number one thing. And while we're in the business that we're in, is making sure that they have an opportunity to compete and win at the highest level, earn a great education, all of those things. But certainly, we've got to do our part internally, and we're looking at anywhere from 5 to 10% cuts in some of our units and some of our programs.
We hear from fans all the time, not just your fans. I mean, this applies to everybody across the board, not even just college. A lot of pro fans saying the same thing, but especially college fans that say, I'm getting priced out. It's, tickets keep going up and up and up in most places. Parking's increasing. Cost of living in general is increasing. Now I have to donate to a collective. And it's just, I, as a fan, am getting priced out, and I feel less and less important. We hear that statement and sentiment all the time from our listeners. What message do you have for those people that feel like they're getting priced out and accessed out of their favorite program?
Well, I don't think necessarily that they're wrong. I think that some of this is it's unfortunate. I think that obviously we're all in for revenue sharing with our student athletes. I think they certainly deserve a piece of the pie, and I've said it many times. No, not a single person came to Oxford last year to watch me play football. They came to watch Trey and Jackson and JJ and all the guys on the field. So they deserve a piece of it. But because of that, it does just create a giant math problem. When you're talking about budgets and trying to balance the budget and do the things you want to do. We could certainly decide we were going to go a different direction and try to be mediocre. We could make those budget cuts 15, 20, 30%. And, when coaches have other opportunities, let them go to those other opportunities. But we've chosen that we want to compete. We want to win. We want to win at the highest level. And, I think our success has proven that we can do that. And I do believe that, hopefully we're just getting started across the board. But that's the decision we've made at Ole Miss, is to try to be competitive and win at a high level. And certainly, while unfortunate, the price of that poker continues to go up. So, again, we are very calculated. We spend a lot of time on decisions that we make and things that we ask our fans to do and those type of things. But, unfortunately, in the world that we're living in, if we want to compete at the highest level, and obviously we're in the best conference in the country, we're going to have to continue to raise some prices and do some things to help generate revenue.
The monetization, professional talker over here, of the Grove was something that was obviously talked about heavily by your fans. What went into that decision in particular to try to get some, you mentioned alternative revenue streams, using the Grove to do that?
Well, obviously the Grove is maybe the most unique thing about Oxford. It's something that that we have and we love and our fans have cherished for decades. And the last thing we would ever want to do was to change that experience and that bucket list moment that people have when they come to the Grove those 7 or 8 times a year. So as we made the decision to figure out a way to maybe go into the Grove and extract some value and do those type of things, we wanted to do it the right way. Obviously we feel like there's been money being made out there for a lot of years with our tent vendors and different things. And we certainly, wanted them to still have that opportunity to do that. So we felt like the decision we made to, add $100 per tent or $150 if you're an individual game, that it was, a method that was fair. And again, it's more money. I mean, you just kind of, that is what it is. But at the same time, we felt like it was the least intrusive that we could be and still try to, again, extract some value out of that. And again, that money and what we raise from there is going to go directly toward our operational budgets and making sure that we can put these great rosters on the field with the rev share and those type of things. So we hope that even though that the numbers going up maybe a little bit for your tent group, that you'll see that value and obviously enjoy success on the field, and it'll be worth it for everyone.
Well, what else are you exploring or is possibly coming down the pipe here? Have you sold the field yet? What's that looked like? Aside from selling the Grove, what else are you guys trying to work on to make up for the losses that the house settlement and revenue sharing has put onto your department?
Yeah, Michael, we're looking at everything. Obviously, you mentioned the field. We have our MMR partner, Learfield, looking at that every single day, and we've gotten down the road on some conversations with companies on that, and hope that we can have something there by the time the fall gets here. We looked at more concerts. Right now we do not have a stadium concert booked for the spring, but we're looking for something potentially later in the summer. The pavilion, we're looking to put more concerts and events in there as well. So. I think really everything's on the table. The jersey patches are another thing that has been talked about. We don't have approval on that yet, but there's a lot of value there once that happens. So, and then just talking with the SEC about, different opportunities there as we, have the discussion about 8 or 9 conference games, what the CFP could look like in the future. We think there could be some revenue value add opportunities there too. So, revenue is king, and we have those conversations every single day, but I think we've got some good options for that in the future.
Got less than a minute. I want to ask you about this. You mentioned the investment in trying to compete at the highest level in all sports. You're doing it in football. You're doing it in basketball. Obviously, the baseball investment's been there for a long time. Is this sustainable at Ole Miss? Can you compete financially at the highest level in all 3 of the major sports on your campus? Again, got about 40 seconds here.
Yeah, I think we absolutely can. And again, a lot of credit goes to our chancellor. Dr. Boyce is a big proponent of athletics. He sees the value in athletics, and he's been very helpful there. And it's been great partnering with him as we kind of been on this journey the last 5 years. But we absolutely can. And I think that, you look across the board and not just the big 3, but number 1 in men's golf right now and other opportunities there. But, if we're going to do it, we want to do it right. And, we feel like we can sustain this success.
Time is way too short, but you're generous with yours always.